I thought I would give you guys a health update on Gatsby and how he's doing after getting his cancer treatment. In the last vlog, I showed you guys what Gatsby went through for his radiation treatment for his nasal cancer. And today I thought I would go over what happened after the treatment. Would you like to go on the bed? Here. Right after the last video I posted, I brought him in for his follow-up at UC Davis. The oncologist said that it usually would take 3 to 4 weeks to start seeing results. But as I had mentioned in the last video, I noticed that Gatsby started having the ability to breathe through his nose again only after a few days. I was thinking that's really great. Maybe his diagnosis can be longer than just 1 year. So I brought him in and I asked the oncologist a lot of questions, and I thought I would just read the report that I got back from them. On exam, Gatsby is bright, alert, responsive, and looks really good. He does. He has regained airflow in both of his nostrils, which were noted to have absent airflow during his last exam. And we are pleased with his current quality of life. In the last video, I had mentioned that they still didn't know what kind of cancer Gatsby had, but since then they have narrowed it down to either chondrosarcoma or myxosarcoma, which happens to be a slow-growing cancer, and the treatment is radiation. So they were saying that the good news is that they did use the right procedure in order to treat Gatsby. So when I asked them, since he is reacting so well, does this mean that he could live a longer life? And they were pretty hesitant to answer that. They basically said it wouldn't be a worse diagnosis. As we discussed, there are also a few options for why we have seen such a rapid response to the radiation. There is possibility that the tumor simply shrunk this quickly. However, we also have to leave on the table that the tumor shrunk a small portion but in the correct region to allow for opening up of the airways. We're going to have to drive back to UC Davis and do some follow-up visits pretty often. Basically, we would have to run diagnostics every few months. It is a lot easier to get an appointment since Gatsby is a patient there now. And as I mentioned, it's very hard to get any appointments for veterinary care in the Bay Area currently. They said that the tumor will almost certainly come back in 1 year. And I don't know if I explained it to you on the last video, so I thought I would just explain it one more time. So I was asking them, when the tumor comes back, why can't you just treat the tumor with radiation again? And they said that you can, but the effects of the radiation each time you do it will become about half of the last time. So for example, if he survived about a year before the tumor comes back, they can treat it again and he'll probably survive about 6 months. When they use the radiation on the cancer cells, there are microscopic little cells that can survive, and those are the ones that are resistant to the radiation. And so when you kill off all the cancer cells in the nose and only the ones that are resistant to radiation survive, then the ones that end up multiplying in the nose are the ones that are resistant to that radiation. So when you try to radiate again, it's a lot harder to kill those cells, because now all of the ones that are growing are the ones that are resistant to the radiation. The good news is that we were able to catch the cancer before the cancer broke through the bone that separates his nose from his brain. So the cancer did not spread to his brain. And I was asking him, doesn't that mean that his diagnosis is a lot better? Maybe he can survive a lot longer? And they said, yes, that's why it would be about a year. So for the most part, it was really good news. However, a few days later, I did start noticing that Gatsby started developing a lot of pus in his eye. How do you feel, sir? Your eyes are all goopy still. It's been a few days. It was just a little bit at first, but a few days later, there was a lot more. I thought maybe he had an eye infection, because they said now that he had cancer, he is a lot more prone to getting sick. I tried calling the vet to get an appointment, but it is very hard to get an appointment at the vets over here. And so I tried contacting UC Davis as well. And they pointed out that, oh, it is around 3 weeks since he got his radiation treatment, and that is when all of the side effects start appearing. The side effects include both the tumor shrinking, but also negative side effects. Some negative side effects include the loss of fur, all of that starts showing up about 3 weeks after treatment. The oncologists at UC Davis suggested that I actually do bring him in. They were worried that he could have developed an eye ulcer, which would be really bad. I went through a different urgent care. The good news is that the tests all came out negative. All that happened was that his eyelid, all around his eyelids, got burnt from the radiation. He should be fine. He just needs to wear a cone to avoid scratching his eye. It was a very expensive visit to the urgent care, but the good news was that it did provide me a lot of peace of mind. It's normal. It's just because his eyelids are very inflamed. Do not touch it. Do not apply anything to it. Just let it heal. I noticed Gatsby started losing all the fur around his eyelids. There's a possibility that the fur won't grow back, or that the fur will grow back but white fur instead. But I've been really careful, just like keeping him from touching his eyes. He's been wearing the cone. Other than the fact that he like lost a lot of the fur around his eyes, he's doing a lot better. He can breathe again, which is really nice, and he can sleep. And really, we're just appreciating spending every single day together. And I also want to thank all of you guys for all of your feedback. A lot of you reached out and have still been trying to help. The radiation, of course, is more of a Western method of treating the cancer. I'm also including both sides, the Eastern medication as well. A lot of that has to do with the holistic method. Some anti-cancer supplements such as Asian mushrooms. A lot of you guys suggested a lot of different things for him to try. I brought them up with our vet that practiced both the Eastern and Western methods. We made a plan on, you know, which ones we can incorporate without just giving Gatsby like everything. And I'm incorporating a lot of the things that you guys suggested. And next, I guess I would just talk a little bit about me. I am feeling a little bit better from you know, my mental health. And I want to thank everybody so much for, you know, sending all your support and showing so much love to Gatsby and me. It really means so much. This has been a really rough time for me and for Gatsby as well. And I'm just really grateful that you guys are all here to support us. As I mentioned, all the money generated from our store is gonna go to helping Gatsby recover, and is going to his treatment. We're going to have to drive back to UC Davis and do some follow-up visits pretty often. All the supplements that he's taking, after having mentioned that you guys went so crazy on the store, pretty much everything was sold out or almost sold out. Before all of this happened, I had actually been working on Gatsby's merchandise launch for the end of summer merch. When Gatsby got his diagnosis, I pretty much put my whole life on pause. Since there was no merchandise left, I had a little bit more time, so I decided to resume the production of that. So we have some new merchandise, including this new shirt over here with Gatsby's Shave Ice, Be Cool, along with some reprints in new color t-shirts. So you can check that out at corgionfleek.com. And of course, all the money will go to helping support Gatsby's treatments. Another thing that I had been working on over the summer before all this happened was our 2023 calendar. As you guys may know, Gatsby and I release a calendar every year, but then when Gatsby had his diagnosis, that went on hold too. I had been planning a while with the photographer Corgi from the last calendar from Japan, who was gonna fly over from Tokyo. And then when we got the diagnosis, I was just kind of like, well, you know, I don't even know what's gonna happen. I don't know if Gatsby's gonna feel well enough. And so I was thinking that maybe, you know, we might just have to cancel the calendar. But after speaking with the oncologist, he basically said, go for it. You should do the calendar. I spoke also with my counselor, who also mentioned we should go forward with the calendar. So I contacted Corgi, and look who it is! So Corgi's back. We just picked him up. Hope you had a good flight. It's gonna be another like 12 days. You're gonna be here?
Yeah.
Gatsby, do you remember who this is? Do you remember?
Of course he does.
We're working really hard to make the best calendar. I don't really want to say it, but you know, this might be the last calendar that we create. I say that every year, but you know, this one we're trying extra hard. We're not trying to push Gatsby or make him feel, you know, exhausted, so we really are only taking about one picture every day. We've been driving to all these different locations. I think Gatsby would love and kind of like spending the day there and getting a photo shoot done at the same time. So we're just traveling around the Bay Area, and I know Gatsby's really enjoying it. After the photo shoot, my family is actually gonna fly up again from Hawaii, and we're gonna go on another family trip, as I had mentioned in the last video. So we have some things to look forward to, and life is looking for sure a lot better than last month, where I was in crisis mode and Gatsby wasn't able to breathe. I just want to thank everybody so much. I know that the vlogs have been kind of put on hold as well, and I really want to just get back to, you know, providing awesome content. But of course, first I need to make sure that my puppy, my baby Corgi, is like feeling a lot better. He's my #1 priority, of course. So thank you so much for all of your support. Again, if you want to support us with our new merchandise drop, this is one of my favorite t-shirts. It just looks so nice. I hope to give like lots of awesome new updates on the news. We'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, you guys.